Hello everyone, welcome back to STEM with Chantel.
This is Dustin.
In today's video, you will learn foundational STEM skills like programming and circuitry with Sphero's robotic toys.
Welcome to JCPL Presents How to Program with Sphero Spark Plus. I'm Dustin Barnes. Let's take a look at this together, shall we? Sphero is a programmable robotic ball that can be used to teach coding. It can light up, move around, and even make sounds.
Sphero makes remarkably cool programmable robots and STEAM-based educational tools that transform the way kids learn.
Sphero can be coded in one of three ways. Draw programming allows users to draw a line that will modify the speed Sphero is going and its color. Block programming is an intermediate way to program Sphero. Here, you'll use pre-programmed sets of instructions that you can combine into a blockchain that will tell Sphero what to do. Text programming is the most advanced version of this course. Users get to write their own custom code using a text editor like Notepad. In order to create an account to begin programming Sphero, you're going to have to head over to edu.sphero.com/getting started. In the top right corner, you're going to see an icon that says Sign In. Click on that. You can create a Sphero.edu account, or if you already have a Google account, you can click on that to sign in. Once you do that, mouse over to Programs on the main page. From here, we're going to go to Projects tab and click on My Projects. Now you're going to click on Create Your First Program, and you'll be on your way to getting started with coding. Alright, now we're on the Create a Program screen. From here, you get to name your program. Choose the programming type you want to use between draw, blocks, and text. And finally, you can choose which type of robot you're going to be coding for. Make your selections, hit create, and you'll be on your way to getting started. Alright, let's start with drawing. Take your mouse, move it over the blank screen that has a bunch of grids on it. Hold down the left mouse button, and drag it in the shape that you want. If you want to change your color or increase the speed of Sphero, look at the bottom left corner for a multicolored circle. Click on that. It'll bring up a color wheel which will allow you to change the shape of your line. That will adjust the speed of Sphero. The thicker the line, the faster it'll go. And you can choose what color you want as well. That should make Sphero light up. Alright, that's it for drawing. Let's get ready for the next part, shall we? Alright, the second form of programming for Sphero is blockchain. If you click on that, you're going to get a blank screen with a black block that says On Start Program. This is going to be the basis of all of your programming. No matter what you do, you're not going to be able to delete this block. If you look at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see a couple of tabs that have different functions for what you can do with Sphero. From left to right, we have movement, lights, sounds, controls, comparators, sensors, events, variables, and functions. We'll go into a bit more detail of a few of these tabs a bit later on. But right now, this will be the basis for you. Alright, let's get started. We're going to do a quick overview of three categories that could use a bit more description. First up is operators. These are mathematical actions that modify or create values. An example of this would be you can tell Sphero to read aloud its yaw or pitch orientation after an X amount of seconds that you decide on. Comparators allow you to use and compare values to create conditional logic. An example of this would be if you spin Sphero clockwise, it'll light up orange. But if you spin it counterclockwise, you can set it to light up blue. Finally, we have sensors. These can be used to gather real-time information on what Sphero is doing and adjust its behavior accordingly. An example of this would be if it was going under a certain speed, it could be set to go faster until it achieves an X amount of speed. Alright, now we're going to create a quick blockchain to begin our programming lesson. So first up, I went under Controls, and I dragged Loop X times under onStart program. I switched 0 to 2. Next up, I went to movement, grabbed the row blank at blank speed for blank, and that was the second part, right under loop. From here, I went to lights. I chose strobe blank for 10 seconds, 10 times, and back LED. Next up, I went back to controls, picked delay for X seconds. I went to sound, picked play rain, sound, and continue. And finally, I went back to movement for roll X at X speed for X seconds. So what is this going to do in total? Well, it's going to roll 90 degrees for 20 seconds, pretty fast. It's going to be strobing orange lights for 10 seconds, 10 times, so about once a second. Back LEDs are going to be at 128 brightness. It's going to stop for 5 seconds, play a range sound while it rolls backwards for 25 seconds. Under sensors, I chose on collision. This creates another black box. Unlike the onStart program one, this one can be deleted if you want it to. You also can't put this in the chain of your original blocks, so this will be off to the side. Now, for this one, when it runs into a wall, it's going to play a malfunction sound and continue. The next thing it'll do is it's going to exit the program and it's going to stop working. Alright, next we're going to learn how to program with text for Sphero. Sphero will use the JavaScript language for its text programming. With this, you can create your own custom commands for Sphero to carry out. Just a heads up, when you open your text project, you're going to see async function start program. On line 3, you'll see the closed bracket symbol. Now, once you start writing your code on line 2, you're going to hit enter after each line of code just to make it a little bit easier for you to read and check over. As you do this, the closed bracket is going to keep going down one level. That's totally fine. That's supposed to happen. Whatever you do, the closed bracket has to be at the end of all your code. You can't have any code going past the closed bracket. If you do, it's just not going to work properly at all. So keep that in mind. Just keep the closed bracket at the end of your coding. Alright, now we're going to move on to an example of a text program created with Sphero. In the picture to the right, you can see the closed bracket on line 7. This tells the program to stop there. There's no code beyond it, so we're not going to have any conflicts with our programming. As you type in the Sphero text editor, it can help you autocomplete your programs. For example, when I typed in AW, it had a suggestion to autocomplete to await. The await command would delay the action of Sphero for the amount of time you set. So in the instance of the code to the right, set speed is at 30. That means it will move forward at 30 speed and then stop after 2 seconds. And then it'll carry out its next program. The final thing I'd like to point out in that example code is how to change the color of your Sphero. Set main LED is the command to change the light color of the Sphero. Then you do your parentheses, open brace, R, colon, number, comma, G, colon, number, comma, B, colon, number, close brace, close parentheses. Alright, so what all this is going to do, you choose a number between 0 to 255, and you plug that into where the X's are on this slide. So say you wanted full red. You'd have R at 255, G at 0, and B at 0. So how does Sphero stack up to other learning methods? Well, it definitely has a wide variety of skill set and levels you can start out with. I haven't seen anything quite like the drawing section, and that seems to be a pretty good way to get very young children accustomed to coding. The blockchain coding section is pretty good, about what you expect, and it's really interesting that they have the JavaScript text coding. It does a really good job at sort of helping you out with the code functions, and overall I think it's a pretty good way to learn coding.
Thanks for watching. If you would like to see more STEM with Chantel videos, check out this playlist. If you want to know when JCPL puts out more content, click the subscribe button and the notification bell.